You're listening to the iRacers Lounge podcast, where we discuss everything iRacing in a casual setting. Enjoy. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer, where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Brian McCubbin.
Howdy ho, everybody.
Greg Hectus.
Guess I'm filling in for David this week.
All right. And Tony Groves.
Howdy, gentlemen.
Hey, so on this week's show, we're going to talk about an exploit, or maybe it's a non-exploit. We'll talk about the Coke race at Dover and tons of hardware stuff, of course. And remember, you can follow along with us on your PC or mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com and selecting show notes. Hope to see you there. Sim Coaches offers the realistic sim racing equipment you need to win more races online. It is designed for real racers. Hydraulic construction makes them feel just like the real thing. High-quality construction, 100% leak-proof, and lifetime warranty are the key features with these pedals, and they look absolutely amazing. Check out simcoaches.com and use the coupon code iRacersLounge to get 10% off your purchase. Simcoaches.com is your ticket to feel like you're actually sitting behind the wheel of a car, drive harder, and stay on the limit longer.
All right, guys. So first up for us is a first up for esports. This was posted on iRacers Lounge website, and it is the first ever special event featuring the big blocks at Charlotte. So this is called the Dirt Car Digital Dash. It's a big block modified race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track. And it's going to be coming up on May 4th and 11th. It's got a pretty intricate format for the qualifying and advancement. And you can, it's a $1,000 to win. So it's a pretty high priced prize pool there for, especially for a dirt track special event. I will give you second place is $750, $500 for third, $250 for fourth, $100 for fifth. So the money pays out all the way down to P24 if you make the feature. So it sounds like even if you make the feature, you're going to get some money out of this. It's a total prize purse of $3,625. So it's spread over 2 days but 1 week apart, and follows the traditional dirt car esports format, which consists of 3 separate rounds of racing: the qualifying round, the preliminary round, and the final round. All races will be contested using the default fixed setup for the big blocks at Charlotte. So you don't have to go crazy spending tons of time modifying setups or anything like that. It's all fixed. So that's pretty cool. The qualifying round will be on May 4th, where everybody who's entered will be divided up at random in individual sessions of 24, maximum of 24 cars in a 2-lap time trial session. That's going to set a starting grid for a 30-lap feature, and the top 12 finishers from each feature will transfer to the preliminary round the following Wednesday, May 11th. And then preliminary round contestants will then be divided into 2 separate sessions, both running 1 complete racing program, including hot laps qualifying, heats, last chance consies, and the feature. So the top 12 finishers from each feature will then transfer into the final round. And that's the final round where the top 24 will be set. It's a 50-lap feature finale. And like I said, everybody in that up to 24 will be getting a payout from that particular event. So registration is now open, and the early registration is from Saturday the 30th, with the entrance fee of $25. So $25 to enter. Any driver who enters Sunday, May 1st through May 2nd will receive a late payment registration of $35. So if you register early, you're going to save $10 on the entrance fee.
This is coming up quick. I mean, registration is now. It's coming up real soon. Now, what's interesting to me is iRacing is literally, uh, you know, promoting a cash money race, which I don't know if we've seen that before, but it is on iRacing.com.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. Typically, these special events are just, for prestige, basically. There's no money payout, and there's typically no entrance fee as well. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's because they're pairing up with anybody. There's no official sponsor, right? Dirt Car Digital Dash. I don't see a corporate sponsor or anything that's tied to this.
Well, when you go to register, it takes you to dirtcar.com. And, that's called Dirt Car Esports, which I presume is just some league, So it is interesting that iRacing is publicizing this when they really haven't done that in the past. All right, I'll take this one. This is the big story of the week. I was kind of hoping we could ignore it and just let this one go by, but there was too much chatter in the interwebs about it. But basically, this guy put out a video, and he's saying there's a brake exploit if you drag your brakes. His name was Pablo GZ, and he did a YouTube video kind of showing the exploit, as he calls it, where he basically, on the out lap before qualifying, going between 25 and 30 mile an hour, sawing the wheel back and forth while dragging the brake and the throttle at the same time. He would just do it in certain corners, not the whole way around, and so forth. And so he claimed that, what's happening apparently in the Porsche series and other, road series is this is apparently commonplace now, where the drivers are all doing it because, supposedly of the advantage. Now, we've had responses to that. We've had our very own David Hall put up a video where David went out and tested it himself, pulled up the temperatures after the run, and he concluded that there is no exploit. It's designed like a real race car should. And then also we had videos from Scott Bolster, who is a league manager for the league I run on Thursday nights, Man Cave After Dark. And anyway, he's a real race car driver. He put up a couple videos, quite long, where he went and did full testing, trying to recreate the thing. And what his conclusions were is that, and also David's conclusions, David came to as well on his own video, where basically, when you drag the brake on the out lap, that heats up the brake a little bit, and any perceived gain of time is because in the first or second corner of your hot lap, you're getting into the corner really good because you've warmed the brakes well on the out lap. It has nothing to do with heating the tire, as this guy, was saying. And so they're saying that the temperature that the carcass has, Scott Bolster and David Hall, they were saying the temperature of the carcass is where it should be, after dragging your brakes for one lap. And it's comparable to real world. And real world drivers do this all the time. And the iRacing is modeling it correctly. Now, Scott suggested iRacing make a slight change to the scrutineering of qualifying, basically saying, hey, maybe on the outlap you have to be 80% of the time of your fast lap or something. You can't like dilly dally around at 30 mile an hour. He's saying you wouldn't be allowed to do that on the real race course in real life when you're racing, as far as going real slow 25 to 30 mile an hour on your outlap. So why do we allow it in iRacing? And it's not a bad idea to fix the problem.
I think it's interesting because I don't think I'm not too sure how evolved the tire model is of capturing the brake heat through the rim, right? So I don't know. I don't know if we've gotten to that point where, the F1 cars would probably be the only car on the sim that would transfer that type of heat, would it not? Like it's the only thing that might be strong enough to generate enough to build up tire pressure on a braking application. I just don't see where we generate enough to do that. And I agreed with David watching his findings and this other guy that, yeah, if your brakes and your pads are all heated up in the way that they're supposed to, any good racing brake is meant to work more optimally when it's up to temperature.
Yeah, and so I think I've walked away from this learning to drag my brake on an outlap. I don't know if I've done that. Now, David was saying he always does it, and some of the others on the team said that as well.
Now, what's this thing about Dave Cam? Is he leaving, or is it?
So there's a forum thread about this, obviously, and the title of the thread was "Dave Cam is leaving iRacing," and it was, and I don't know if that's true or not, but that was just the title of the thread, but suggesting that he might leave over this supposed exploit. Now, there was also a thread that was started from none other than iRacing's own Greg West. And I'm going to read part of it, but this is iRacing's basically official response to this. We appreciate your patience as we've been monitoring and evaluating the increased discussion regarding drivers dragging their brakes during qualifying sessions in order to build more temperature in the tires. First and foremost, we take this seriously. But now I'm going to paraphrase because this is long. Secondly, it is important to note that the process of dragging brakes while warming the tires on an outlap is a commonly used real-world tactic across many levels of motorsports. iRacing's physics models take such heat transfers into account. This concept of in and of itself is not an exploit. This is simply part of the process of racing. We are aware of everyone's concerns regarding qualifying scrutiny and currently have our team evaluating what the most appropriate course of action is in both the short term and over time to minimize exploitive behaviors and to keep the on-track action as realistic as possible. I say that the first option we're looking at is making the qualifying sessions more transparent. The ability to view your fellow drivers during qualifying would make those sessions more entertaining while you're waiting, but also would allow for community policing of unrealistic driving behaviors. We are evaluating our qualifying scrutiny systems to improve the detection methods of unrealistic driving behaviors. And yeah, so I thought it was a nice response from iRacing. What do you guys think?
Do you think, and I was just thinking of this, I know we've had, there's been, I guess, do we call it a cheating exploits over the past 15 years of iRacing? There's always something, people find out how to, warm tires, figure something out, find the grip on the track type thing. Do you think this part right here is just, we're getting to a point where there's so many members on iRacing that it's going to be so hard to keep up with every single thing that's found, and even if it's a tenth of a second or something like that, that's an exploit. iRacing might just never be able to keep on top of them all.
Yeah, but obviously they're all over this. They watch the same stuff I do. Obviously, the chatter, the forums, social media. I mean, people were talking about it. That video, the initial one the guy put out, it made the round. A lot of people saw it.
Well, my question would be, is it really a hack if it works in real life? As long as you're not like abusing it, doing things on the track that um, would be out of the ordinary for normal racing. They had the one hack where people would go really super duper slow on the warm up laps and just and do something for their tires. Holding the brake in and burning up their tires and stuff like that. Um, but if you're just dragging the brake to get some heat into it on the outlap of a qualifying session, is that really a hack, or is it just what works in real life?
Yeah, and that's exactly what those guys were saying in the response videos. So, um, Scott Bolster, his video was quite long, like almost an hour, and he goes into the nitty gritty about why this happens and how it works in real life and how iRacing is matching it. So he really talks you into it because he's very knowledgeable, actually. And so if you're interested in a deep dive into this, I definitely recommend his videos.
I think, Mike, where you're figuring the biggest problem that people are having is like, say you're doing, I don't know, using a GT3 or car or something at Watkins Glen, and it takes like a minute something to go around the track, and you spend 3 minutes dragging the brake around the track. That's not realistic. It's more of, yeah, you can speed up, slow down, and you say take 2 minutes instead of a minute 50 seconds, whatever the lap is, to go around the track. But you're heating your brakes up and doing it like it looks like a professional's doing it, not where you're dragging. No driver in real life, unless they're doing a burnout, holds the brake completely to the ground and then gives it full throttle to heat the brake up for a consistent period of time.
Well, and I think what Scott was saying at the end was, hey, let's say I go out and run my qualifying lap, but I don't drag my brake at all on my out lap. I'm going to have a slower lap. But the reason isn't because the tires got hotter because the guy who dragged his brake. It's because his brakes got hotter and he was better under braking in the first couple corners because mine were cold and his were warm. That was the difference. That's the only difference in time.
Yeah, so, like you said, if we put a little bit of a penalty on of not take, you can't take 3 minutes to do your out lap when you have 8 minutes to do, a full qualifying. If someone's only going to do one qualifying lap and is offered two and they take like 3 minutes to do an out lap, I think there needs to be, like you said, a percentage of whatever your time is, that your fastest time you go around, you have to be within that percentage so that you're not DQ'd or you would get DQ'd if you go out of that percentage.
I'd be okay with it, a real tight, out lap that is, highly scrutinized.
I think the biggest difficulty there too would be is like some of the guys, some people are new and can be really slow, so it's got to be, I guess if it's always based off of yourself and it's a percentage of yourself's lap, then it won't be the big problem, right?
Well, I'm about to take a deep dive into road racing, so it's kind of an interesting topic as I prepare for that. Did we beat that dead horse enough, as David would say? Let's talk help wanted. Tony, what do you got?
I am going to guess it is a web developer that is needed. I'm having a problem with my links here. They're not opening up nicely. So I can just read what's after the backslash on the link.
Here, I'll take it, Tony, for you. So iRacing is hiring a web developer.
You're having the issues too, eh?
Why is it not reading? Is it not working for me? You guys hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, so that it is a web developer, but that they're hiring. So they're looking for someone that has 2 to 5 years of experience with was it React and
Lost you.
Reduce? So, are you guys having problems with my mic?
I got you now.
Okay, so they're looking for 2 to 5 years of experience with React and Reduce skills. Or React and Reduce skills. Experience with as a part of software development team. Obviously, they got to be a U.S. citizen. It looks like to do this. It'd be interesting to see what type of. Why would they be hiring a web developer if they were going away from the web-based part of it, which is the one thing I would wonder.
It says right here in daily job duties, develop new iRacing UI and other iRacing apps using React and Redo.
So after they go away from it, they want to do other stuff.
Well, we're going to be talking about iRacing apps here later in the show, so that's an interesting. But the UI, we knew they were making some differences there.